Fame can hide many dark secrets. While millions of fans admired these British icons for their talent, charm, and success, their private lives sometimes told a very different story. Behind closed doors, some of these beloved stars were surrounded by disturbing allegations of violence, anger, and family turmoil. Over the years, reports, biographies, and interviews have revealed shocking claims about how fame, power, and personal struggles sometimes turned into toxic behavior at home. In today's video, we're looking at 10 beloved British icons who faced serious allegations of abusing or terrorizing their families. These stories remind us that celebrity status doesn't always reflect the reality behind closed doors. Sean Connery. Best known for playing the legendary spy James Bond, Sean Connery was one of Britain's most admired actors. However, his reputation was later overshadowed by controversial statements he made in interviews decades ago. In a 1960s interview, Connery suggested that hitting a woman might sometimes be justified during arguments, a comment that sparked outrage years later when it resurfaced. Although he later clarified his views, critics and activists strongly condemned the statement. His personal life, including his marriage to actress Diane Salento, also became the subject of debate when she later described a difficult relationship in interviews and memoirs. The controversy remains one of the most discussed aspects of Connery's legacy. Oliver Reed. Oliver Reed was famous for his intense acting style and wild personality. Known for roles in films like Gladiator and Oliver, Reed also had a reputation for heavy drinking and unpredictable behavior. Reports from friends and colleagues often described explosive arguments and violent outbursts during his personal relationships. His turbulent marriage to actress Kate Byrne reportedly involved frequent fights and emotional turmoil. Reed's lifestyle, fueled by alcohol and fame, created a chaotic environment that followed him both on and off film sets. While many admired his talent, stories about his temper and aggressive behavior contributed to his reputation as one of Britain's most controversial actors. Richard Burton. Richard Burton was one of the most legendary actors of the 20th century, known for his powerful voice and unforgettable performances. His passionate and stormy relationship with Elizabeth Taylor became one of Hollywood's most famous romances. However, their marriage was also filled with intense arguments and public fights. Both stars admitted that their relationship could become explosive, especially when alcohol was involved. Biographies about Burton describe a relationship marked by jealousy, shouting matches, and emotional conflict. Although their love story fascinated the world, it also revealed the darker side of fame and passionate relationships in the spotlight. Jeremy Clarkson. Television presenter Jeremy Clarkson, famous for hosting Top Gear, has often been surrounded by controversy due to his outspoken personality. Over the years, Clarkson has faced criticism for aggressive behavior and heated arguments with colleagues and people around him. In his personal life, reports have described difficult relationships and explosive temper issues. His reputation for confrontational behavior even led to his departure from Top Gear after an altercation with a producer. While Clarkson remains hugely popular with fans, critics often point to his temper and confrontational style as evidence of a darker side to his public persona. Tommy Steele. Tommy Steele was one of Britain's first rock and roll stars and later became a respected actor and entertainer. While he maintained a largely positive public image, some biographies and media reports have hinted at intense pressures behind the scenes of his personal life and career. Like many celebrities of his era, Steele struggled with the stress of fame and constant public attention. Although major accusations remain limited, discussions about his personal relationships occasionally surfaced in media commentary. These stories highlighted the strain that celebrity life can place on families and relationships. Keith Moon was one of the most explosive and talented drummers in rock history, best known for his work with the legendary band The Who. On stage, Moon's energetic and chaotic drumming style helped define the sound of 1960s and 1970s rock music. However, his personal life was often as wild as his performances. Moon became famous for heavy drinking, destructive partying, and unpredictable behavior that sometimes shocked friends and colleagues. Many stories from bandmates describe hotel rooms destroyed during drunken nights and sudden mood swings that could turn celebrations into chaos. His relationships reportedly suffered because of his extreme lifestyle and emotional instability. Despite these struggles, Moon's musical brilliance made him one of the most influential drummers in rock history before his tragic death in 1978. Sid Vicious became one of the most infamous figures in the punk movement during the late 1970s. As the bassist for Sex Pistols, he symbolized the raw rebellion and chaos that defined punk culture. However, his personal life quickly spiraled into addiction and turmoil. His relationship with his girlfriend Nancy Spungen was widely described as volatile and destructive, fueled by heavy drug use and constant arguments. In October 1978, Spungen was found dead in a New York hotel room, and Vicious was arrested and charged with her murder. While awaiting trial, his life continued to unravel due to drug dependency. Tragically, Vicious died from a heroin overdose in February 1979 at just 21 years old, leaving behind one of rock's most tragic and controversial stories. Eric Burdon rose to international fame in the 1960s as the powerful voice behind the Animals. Their hit song House of the Rising Sun became one of the defining tracks of the British invasion era. While Burdon's soulful voice and intense stage presence made him a rock legend, life behind the spotlight was often complicated. Biographies and interviews have described periods of personal conflict, heavy touring schedules, and the pressures that came with sudden worldwide fame. Like many rock stars of that era, Burdon was surrounded by the fast-paced lifestyle of the 1960s music scene, where alcohol, long tours, and constant media attention sometimes created tension in personal relationships. His story reflects how fame and the demanding rock and roll lifestyle could place enormous strain on artists and their families. Noel Gallagher is best known as the lead guitarist, songwriter, and creative force behind the iconic British band Oasis. During the 1990s, Oasis became one of the biggest bands in the world, with massive hits like Wonderwall and Don't Look Back in Anger. However, Gallagher also became famous for his fiery temper and outspoken personality. Throughout his career, he was involved in many heated arguments, especially with his brother and bandmate Liam Gallagher. Their constant fights and public feuds often made headlines and eventually contributed to the band's breakup in 2009. Gallagher has admitted in interviews that fame, pressure, and the intense lifestyle of rock stardom sometimes fueled anger and conflict during the height of Oasis's success. Pete Townshend is widely regarded as one of the most innovative musicians in rock history and the creative force behind the legendary band The Who. Known for writing iconic songs like My Generation and Baba O'Reilly, Townshend helped shape the sound and attitude of modern rock music. Despite his huge success, his personal life was not always easy. During the height of his fame, Townshend struggled with alcohol and substance abuse, as well as periods of anger and emotional stress. In later interviews and his autobiography, he openly discussed these challenges and how the pressures of fame sometimes affected his relationships and family life. His honesty about these struggles has added depth to his legacy as both an artist and a human being. Fame often creates the illusion of perfection, but the reality behind celebrity lives can be far more complicated. The stories of these British icons show how talent and success sometimes existed alongside controversy, personal struggles, and troubling allegations. While their achievements shaped entertainment history, their personal lives remind us that celebrities are human, capable of both greatness and serious mistakes.